Let's talk a little bit more about web servers. A web server is essentially a file server. It's a computer that waits for requests for text-based web pages and then sends that page out to a computer. Now, of course, the graphics, video, sound files as well will be sent along, but in essence, a web server is simply a file server. In order to request web pages, we use what are called URLs, or Uniform Resource Locators. And you've probably seen these before when you go online. You see a variety of different web pages that have something like this. Let's look at each of the parts of this particular URL. So we start with the protocol. Now this protocol is HTTP, Hypertext Transfer Protocol. Of course, we could also do HTTPS, as well as some of the other protocols such as FTP if we wanted to connect to an FTP server. But the protocol comes first, followed by a colon. After the protocol comes a definition of which computer we're talking to. We have to analyze this from right to left rather than from left to right. The TLD, or top-level domain, is the .com, the .org, or the .edu of a URL. When the internet was first designed, these top-level domains were actually all controlled from a central location. So in order to get to a particular .com address, you would first go to the .com servers and then drill down from there. .org was similar. In today's world, these top-level domains are much more diversified and spread out. The domain is the company or organization that owns a particular website or web address. The host is then a specific machine within that company. So for example, www.google.com essentially means go to the .com servers, find the Google section of the .com servers, and go specifically to the World Wide Web, or www machine, on the Google network within the .com servers. So this section determines which device we are trying to talk to. After that, we identify a resource path, or the particular page that we're looking for. Following UNC convention, we use slashes to identify different folders within a directory path. At the very end, we have a page with a particular extension, something like a .html, XML, etc. Some form of a page or a website that we're trying to load. The question mark separates the resource path from web variables. Notice that what follows is a set of a variable name and a value. The ampersand concatenates multiple variables together. So we have a form item 1 equal to string 1, form item 2 equal to string 2, and so on and so forth. Each of these different variables and the value assigned to them may change the behavior of this particular page. Once this is entered inside of a web browser and you click go or hit enter, the web browser will attempt to resolve this URL and display the page. Now, along with URLs, you'll commonly see something called percent encoding. Percent encoding is a way of representing characters within a URL without actually having to type in that particular character. So for example, spaces are not allowed inside the URL. So if you want a space to be in any of these different pieces, either in the file path or in one of the form items, we use percent encoding, and a space is represented by %20. It's the hexadecimal representation of the ASCII character. The space in the ASCII character set is hexadecimal 20. A dot, for example, is 2e. However, we can use dots in URLs. A slash is %2f. The number 2 is %32. If you wanted to translate the word hello using percent encoding, it would be %48, %65, %6c, %6c, and %6f. Each of these pairs of digits represents a different ASCII character. To a web browser, this percent encoded format is identical to the text hello that we can see and read.